President Trump came out fighting today over Russia as the fallout from his explosive summit with President Putin continues.
And there's been no president ever as tough as I have been on Russia.
And that's what made it disgusting. That's what made his performance disgusting.
But there's still no let-up on the U.S. networks as even Fox News continues its outrage over Trump's vocal support this week for the Russian leader.
You should call this the Surrender Summit.
That sets us back a lot.
And this is what's caused all the trouble. At the Helsinki press conference, President Trump sided with President Putin over his own intelligence agencies regarding interference in the U.S. elections.
People came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
But after an urgent rewind and review, a chastised President Trump appeared last night, claiming he misspoke and was thus misunderstood.
I actually went out and reviewed a clip of an answer that I gave, and I realized that there is a need for some clarification. It should have been obvious. I thought it would be obvious, but I would like to clarify just in case it wasn't. In a key sentence in my remarks, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia. Sort of a double negative.
Double negatives, retractions and reversals appeared to be part of an increasingly chaotic Trump routine. Like a scolded schoolboy, the president, reading awkwardly from a prepared script, insisted he did endorse his intelligence agencies.
Once again, full faith and support for America's intelligence agencies. I have a full faith in our intelligence agencies. Whoops, they just turned off the light. That must be the intelligence agencies.
A sign perhaps from the intelligence gods. Trump can't resist his own jokes.
That was strange.
But quips aside, Americans, even close allies, are more in the dark than ever over his erratic thinking or what he might have agreed in secretive talks with President Putin. Just hours after this statement, Trump appeared to change tack yet again, saying the intelligence community loved his press conference performance and that big results will come. As the world seeks details of what Trump agreed in those closed-door talks with Putin, where only interpreters were present, aside perhaps from Russia's defense ministry, with an announcement that it's ready to boost military cooperation with the US over Syria.
What new plans for Syria?
On MSNBC, Rachel Maddow questioned exactly what Trump had agreed to, with no official announcements being made. As the second guessing continues, Democrat and Republican lawmakers are now calling for President Trump's interpreter from his Putin meeting to testify before Congress. In the meantime, they'll be trying to get inside the mind of this man.
I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius.
Who appears anything but stable or consistent.
Well, I'm joined now by Evan McMullin, former CIA operations officer and 2016 independent presidential candidate. Mr. McMullin, does the intelligence community believe Trump's claim that he misspoke in Helsinki, that he got confused with a double negative?
You know, I'm not sure that the intelligence community needs that input either way to understand what President Trump is. The intelligence and law enforcement community has for a long time understood that President Trump, previously, obviously, candidate Trump, had a strange, suspicious relationship with Vladimir Putin, under which he appeared to be under the influence of the Russian leader. And that has been consistent. In fact, Donald Trump has never strayed from that. And so as Donald Trump sort of redefines how he handled Putin in this most recent meeting in Helsinki, it doesn't really matter. It matters maybe in terms of the way his base perceives that meeting. But the intelligence community and law enforcement community understands what we're dealing with, what the country's dealing with.
He says no president has ever been as tough on Russia.
Well, it's just absurd. There's no basis for that. I suppose he could hang his hat on the fact that he did sign a sanctions bill responding to Russia's attacks on on the core of our democracy. But he did everything he could to fight and water down that bill when it was moving through Congress.
Okay.
And then he complained about having to sign it. And the only reason he did was because he faced a veto-proof majority, meaning the Congress could pass it and enact it without his approval.
Yeah.
And then he delayed implementing the sanctions bill for months. So he just doesn't have a leg to stand on. It's nonsense.
So how then should intelligence chiefs respond to him now? How should they react?
You know, there is not a good answer to that important question. You know, the intelligence chiefs and intelligence organizations, you know, in normal circumstances, are duty-bound to inform the president of the best, most timely intelligence and analysis they can offer. Clearly, though, we have a situation with a president here who cannot be trusted, who's under the influence of a foreign adversary, the very adversary who is currently attacking us. And so it creates a difficult situation. I think what will likely happen is that the intelligence services will be very careful about what they provide to the president. I say that, and it hurts me even to say that, because I know how much our country needs our intelligence agencies to be able to speak candidly with the president, because he or she ultimately holds the authorities to respond to their work, to their intelligence and analysis, and our security requires that. So we are in a very difficult position as a country as a result of this, as a result of understandably, justifiably not being able to trust our own president. And I say that
Indeed.
And understanding how extreme that is, but it is the situation in which we find ourselves.